Microwave, he doesn't know how they work.
You're right about that too.
Okay, today's daf is daf Samach Beis, I believe, right? So we were learning yesterday about the two different machlokesin between Rabban and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabban hold that in a regular classical case of Aish, where you lit a fire in your own property and it moved out, there's a blanket tour of Tamun because it says Ayakam. Rabbi Yehuda argues with that. But what happens where there is no blanket heter of Tamun? For instance, you lit the fire in Yenem's Rishos. There, you're no longer covered by any special exemption. There, the Rabbanan hold you're still only chayiv if it's something that you could have anticipated would be there. So if you find kalim of a farm in a Godish, you'd be liable for that. But if you found the computer equipment in a Godish, there you would not be chayiv. And I did not understand that yesterday. And I think I shared it with the Olam. If I'm asking you, who cares what I knew about it or not? In fact, it's a big problem. I looked it up in the Pnei Yeshua. The Ramban actually learns that the case is, and we're going to learn about that today, is where the Nizik claims there was this inside the Godish, and the Ma'aseh said there was no such thing inside the Godish. And the question is the Nizik believed to say that it was there? And that's what the question is over here. That's how the Ramban learns. And the Pnei Yeshua wants to say, maybe it's speaking where you were the shomer. You were a shomer in the Mazik's field, and this fire broke out. So once again, the Gemara is going to discuss that later as well. When you became shomer, when you accepted upon yourself the shmira, you only accepted upon yourself the shmira of a Godish, not of expensive electronic equipment. But it still doesn't fair for it completely because Lamaisa, the Gemara Pashas, is speaking about a regular case of Mazik. But it's definitely one of the big issues discussed in the Echronim and Rishonim. Okay, so we are on the fourth line from the top. That there would not be a payment. I say you're more than welcome to pile up your Godish in my field. And normally it's understood that I'm accepting responsibility to watch your Godish. The Higdish. And in fact, the person took advantage and he set up his Godish in Yem's field. The hitman, and he hid something in the field. She'ein mishalem ella demei Godish bilvad. As Rashi says, if the balasada lit it on fire, he was mekabel upon himself by allowing somebody to set up his Godish in his field. He's allowing upon himself, he's accepting upon himself responsibility for a Godish, not for something more expensive that he was not aware of. And the same thing would be lahagdish chitin. If he gave him permission to put in the chitin, the higdish sarin, he put in something of a lesser value. Or sahirin, the higdish chitin, he put something in of more value. Chitin, the chipan besarim, he made an outer layer of sarim so it looked like it was only sarin. Or sahirin v'chipan b'chitin, she'ena mishalom ela the meisarin bilvad. You only pay the meisarin. Zokt Rashi, afal pi shenasan lo rishus lechitin, even though he gave rishus to this person to pile up chitin in his property. What I saw was siren because that was the outer layer that was exposed to me. I didn't watch him so carefully. Someone gave a din zav to an isha. Boy, be careful with this. It's valuable. It's silver. So he told her that it was silver. If she gets up and damages it, she has to pay in full for a dinar zov. Doesn't make a difference what she thought it was. What right did you have to go be a dime and be mazik? Which is the same kasha we had on our base, right? Just because you didn't know what it was, just because you didn't know what was in my Godish, who told you? Sorry? Because Pasha boy, but if she was really Pasha on it, she wasn't mazik at b'yadayim, then mishalem shall kesef. The same as far the Amrulay, the tirusa the kaspa kabila alai, the tirusa the dahavalo kabila alai. So if you're mazik at b'yadayim, you chai for everything. Correct. And I was only makabel. I'm only chai for what I was makabel shmir for, precisely. Or it could even be a shemir sach. Whatever type of shemir was, he was only makabel shmir for what he thought it was. Yes, you're chayav anointim, but you're chayav anointim only for what you were makabel shmir on. Amar le Rav Mordechai le Rav Ashi. Atun b'derava masnisula. You bring your raya from Rava, who says anointim dino leisha. That's where you bring your raya from. However, Anan mimasnisa pshitalat. We have a mishnah that seems to support this svara. Chitan v'chipan b'sarin, sarin v'chipan b'chitan. Ein mishalom el demei sarin b'vad. All we see from here, Amar le, he could tell. The Shomer could tell the Bailam nitirusa de sari kabili alai. Hakanami Amar le nitirusa de dehava loy kabili alai. I thought I was getting silver, not gold. Omar Rab Shamus Milsa de Rabbi Huda. I heard Epes HaChiddush according to Rabbi Huda, who doesn't hold the Torah of Tom. V'lo yadanamai. I don't remember what I heard. Amar Shmuel v'lo yada abba mashmila Rabbi Huda. I'll tell you what you heard. The mechayev al niskei tamun ba'eish. According to Rabbi Huda, you're chayev al niskei tamun ba'eish. Also, the akonos nigzal ba'eishai. They made the akonos nigzal. I light a fire. I didn't see anything. I don't know what's in there. Now the nizik is going to claim that I had all these expensive items in it. Mechnes, you can believe him. There's a takana by a nigzal. If someone steals from somebody else, and the nigzal claims that there was a whole bunch of items in the box that the person stole, the nigzal is believed. I believe the nigzal has to make a shvua, and he gets the. It says over here, Kihech the katani the tikner rabbanon the nigzal lishava kama gazloi v'yital. All the nigzal has to do is swear how much was stolen from him, and he could get that. Huladin, someone who had something that was tamim beish, he could swear what he had in that pile, and the mazik would have to pay. Boy, I mean, also because nigzal b'moser eloi. What if someone tells the government that Yenner has money, you should go take away his money? In those days, that used to happen, unfortunately. So the question is, we don't know exactly what was taken from this nigzal. Could the Moser swear what was taken from him, and then the moiser would have to pay? If you hold there's no din in the gami, meaning the moiser is b'chlal not chayiv, loy tevoilach. The mesiris nami loy danina. You don't mechayiv the moiser or anything. El kiti boilach aliba mandamer danina din the gami. The question is also the constants of the moser, the mishtaba b'shakol, the nizik. The person who was the victim of this Masira could swear what was taken from him, and then they could force the Moish to pay, Ilai or not take. Now, of course, if John didn't commit Midaraisa, so then it's a regular Ganav. So why would there be a Shal of Gami? Taisha speaks out, this is one of Taisha says Rayis all over, that even if you're done didn't Gami, it's only Midarabon. Chiv to pay. Hahu Gavra, the Botash, because Bosa the Chavre. I don't know what Botash means. But it was a box, a money box. He kicked the money box, a box that normally money is kept in, of his friend. Shad Yibinara, and it went flying and it fell into the river. Tomorrow, its owner came, V'amar, and he said, Hachi v'achi hava liga begava. This is what was in the box. Yosy Rabashi, he was thinking, Hagav Namai. Do we have the Takanas and Exile? Could we force the person who kicked the box to, he didn't kick the bucket, he kicked the box, right? Amalei Ravina Ravacha Bered Rava. Isn't that our mission? It's not the Modim Chacham Rabbi Yehuda, the Mazik is Abira, Shemishalom Kol Masha B'Soichai. Shekein Derech B'nei Adam Laniach B'Batim. What does the Mishnah say? It's the derech to have anything in the house. That's where people keep their stuff. So too, you'd have to pay whatever money is in the box, whatever money the claims is in the box. If he said there's a certain amount of money that was in this box, Hakadami Avad, you believe him? Hacha. This discussion is the Katoin Marganisa. You know what he had in the box? Not currency, which would have been the norm to keep in the box. He had diamonds or other precious gems. Is it believable that someone kept gems in a money box, in a cash register box? Or not, take it. And that was the Shiloh.
You know the story of the diamonds and the gefilte fish?
With the box.
I'm sorry, what?
The owner there with the box.
I'm sorry?
The owner there with the box. Or is it just...
No, I guess it's in the river. It's lost. You can't open it up. You can't check. No. What is the story with the diamond and the gefilte fish?
The story is that a woman asked her friend to take a jar of gefilte fish, her son's favorite jar of gefilte fish.
Oh, I heard it with coffee, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
You say over the story. So go back to the story.
And it's a strange request, but you can't get that brand of gefilte fish in Eretz Yisrael. Her son likes it, so she's fine. I'll take the jar of gefilte fish anyway. the gefilte fish jar leaks, and of course it's disgusting. It's leaking all over the place. So she throws it out, and she says, "You know what? I'll buy a new jar of gefilte fish." So she goes there. She gets there. She brings a new jar of gefilte fish and gives it to the son. Anyway, she gets a call from the woman and says, did you deliver the jar of gefilte fish to my son?" So she says, "Well, actually, it leaked, so I bought a new jar. I didn't want to trouble you. I bought a new jar. I brought him the new jar of gefilte fish." She says, "Oh no, well, what's the problem?" There was thousands of dollars of diamonds inside the gefilte fish jar that I gave.
She could have didn't bite into it. I would have broken my teeth. Okay, Zok Gemara. Amalei Rabbi Meir Rashi.
That's a case of Shmira. Isn't that a case of Shmira? That's a case of Shmira.
She thought she replaced the gefilte fish. She replaced the gefilte fish.
We only have a
She didn't
couple
tell
of
her
minutes
that there
left.
was diamonds inside the gefilte fish.
Amalei Rabbi Meir Rashi. Toin Kaso de Kaspa Bibir Mai. What if someone claimed he had a beautiful silver goblet in his house? I guess in those days it wasn't typical that people had bechers. Only very wealthy people had bechers. If he's a very wealthy person, the isla kaspa that it makes sense that he would have such kelim in his house. Even if he's not rich, but if he's someone who's very trustworthy, the mafkadi inchi gabe, where people would put things by him for safekeeping, then mishtava b'shakal, he swears, and they could extract the kesef, the value of the silver becher out of the mazik. The lav kol kiminei. Sorry, because we wouldn't believe him if it's something that wouldn't make sense here. It only works if it's something that makes sense. What's the difference between a gazlin and a chamsin? It's simple. Chamsin yovdam. The chamsin gives you money at least. He does the transaction against your will, but at least he pays. Gazlin lo yovdam. Amalei yovdami. If he pays chamsin karsley, why is he called a chamsin? It's a fair deal. He bought it. If you force someone to do a sale and you force him to accept your money, that's considered a valid sale. That's not a chamsin anymore. A chamsin is someone who, even after he forced you the money and grabbed the item, you still never gave in. You still didn't say right something. That makes you into a chamsin. Toysha seems to say that Nafkamina is the Gabi Pasala Idus. Okay, Zok the Gemara Bait. Zok the Mishnah gets a spark. Shayota mitachas a patish that went flying out from under the blacksmith's hammer. Basically, the damage high is Gomel Shayaton Pish. We learned this Mishnah already, an easy Mishnah, Chanukah Mishnah. Gomel Shuton Pishton. And he passed by the Rishus Rabban. It was overloaded, so the piston got stuck into the store. The dalkai b'ner shel chamani. And it got lit up with the ner of the chamani. V'hidek has a bira, and it lit up the bira. Bal gomel chayv. If you remember, the Gemara used this Mishnah as a raya that Eisha mishum amayna and not Eisha mishum chitza. And the Gemara according to Eisha mishum chitza, speaking where he actually lit the whole bira. It didn't just spread from one place in the bira. He had to light the whole thing. What if the chemini unlawfully put his ner outside? Then a chemini chayiv, because he's the one who caused the fire. V'doimer b'ner Chanukah potter. When you're Chanukah, you're potter. Amar bin Mishmei Rabbi Shmami Nami Rabbi Yehuda. Ner Chanukah mitzvah nich b'soich asar. It has to be within 10 tvachim of the ground, within 10 amish of the ground. If it could be above 10 amish, why do we say that the chemini had a right to leave his menorah there? Amai Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Ner Chanukah potter. Let the Nizik say, should have put it out of reach. And allowed from that he would not have been Mekayim the mitzvah, otherwise, mitzvah nicha b'sechasar. Amijak when you don't have a right. Really, he could really have put it up way high, and there would have been yoich to the mitzvah. But, my amrit, are you telling me since he would have been yoich putting it up way high, that's where he should have placed it? No. Even though it would have worked, it would have been kosher up there, but they're not matrichim when he's doing a mitzvah. And therefore, he's still allowed to put it down in a place where it can cause danger. Like a sukkah and the mavi, if it's l'mayla meshmama, it's not a kosher sukkah, and the mavi is not a good mavi. Meruba midas tashlume kefil, midas tashlume bar b'chamisha. there are more cases where you would pay kefil for Geneva than you would pay Arba B'Chamisha in the case of Tzvicha Mechira. Shemidas Teslumi Kefil Laheges Bein B'Davar Sheish B'Ruchaim or Bein B'Davar Shein B'Ruchaim. Kefil applies to anything that you stole. It doesn't matter if it's an animal or not. But Umidas Teslumi Arba B'Chamisha Ein Laheges El B'Shar V'Sevel Vat. It doesn't even apply to Al Balichaim. It only applies to a small subset, a shar and a sin. Shenemak Yignav Ish Shar Oiseh B'Tavchim Much. Ein Agoynav Acharganim Misham Teslumi Kefil. If I steal something and then someone steals it from me, the person who stole it from me does not pay kefil. And if you take it from me and you shecht it, you're not going to be mechuyev to pay. There's a glaring omission in a difference between kefil and dalvei. And what is the glaring omission? It doesn't say that by Toyin Tanis Ganav you pay kefil but not dalvei. Elamai Yavaraya, that a Toyin Tanis Ganav does pay dalvei. You see, a Toyin Tanis Ganav because Mishalam Tashlume Kefil, Tav Chamoch Misham Tashlume Abba B'Chamisha. Igadami, the opposite. Lemon Messiah Rabbi. Maybe we have a raya from Mishnah to Rabbi Barabba. Rabbi Barabba Mabechanon, Hatoyin Tanis Ganav B'Kodoin, Shalom Tashlume Kefil, Tav Chamoch Mishalam Tashlume Abba B'Chamisha. Zaktima, you don't have a raya. Mika Tani Ein Bein, which would mean it's an exhaustive list, missing nothing, and the fact it's not in the Mishnah, it's a raya that the going for the guy that pays alvei. No, Ein Mika Tani Ein Bein Meruba Katani. It just says this is a way in where kefil exceeds dalvei, and you could therefore say ton of a shire. Toys asks, "Oy bazoi, my shire, the high shire." What else would be missing from the Mishnah? What else pays kefil not alvei? So Toys talks about shutfim. Toys talks about some other cases. Shemini teshlim kefil no hekes. Minanamil. The Tanur about how do we know kefil is knowing about everything? Because it says in the closet, "Al kol dvar pesha." It was a klal. Al shor, al chamor, al sev, al salmo are pratim. And then he says, "Akol aveda chazav v'kolal." So we know klal prat uklal iyat don elakena prat. Ma prat mefurish dover hametalta l'gufamon. The prat is something that's mobile. It's not like karka, and it itself has value. It doesn't just represent value. I've called over metaltal l'gufamon. So too any metaltlin that has its own value. Yotzu karkoyish she'ena metaltlin. Karkoyish you don't pay kefil for because they're not movable. And Yotzu avodim shehuksu l'karkoyis. It also excludes avodim because the huksu l'karkoyis. And Yotzu shtoros she'af al pisha metaltlin. Even though a star is mobile, it's a piece of paper. Ein gufa moment. It's not the moment itself. It merely represents a clay. Yotzu hektish. Hektish doesn't pay kefil because re'eu ksev and hektish is not re'eu.
Somebody's.
Well, let me just finish. Ma prat mefurish davar shenevei losei mitama b'magu b'masa. What are the pratim? Shor, chamor, and seh. All of those animals, if they die without shchita, they're nevela is mitama b'magu b'masa. So maybe af kol davar shenevei losei mitama b'magu b'masa. You chayiv kefil for aval oifois loy. How could you say that? One of the pratim is salma. Salma is not mitam b'maga b'masa. Salma is not mitam at all. It's a pegget. It doesn't die. Amri ananda balachayim karmina. We're talking about the balachayim. The pratim that are speaking about balachai seems to exclude nevelas oiftar and oiftar, which is not mitam b'maga b'masa. Ema b'balachayim davar shenevelas mitam b'maga b'masa. In davar she'ein nevelas mitam b'maga b'masa. Loy. Why? The akol chad v'chad klal uprat ba'pinav she'darshinolei. When you darshin the klal uprat, you could look at each one individually, and therefore salma is not used to represent all other balichaim. Salma is used to represent other objects, but the balichaim are represented by shor, chamor, and seh, and therefore abul oifos loy. Maybe if you steal a bird, you should not be mechuyev in kefel. Like Torah, because it doesn't have the same halachas of Tumah. So because tomorrow we had this exact sugya before. Why do we need three pratim? Al chamor, shor, and seh. One of them would have been enough. Which one should have said? If it only had the prat of shor and a left off chamor, left off seh, have been a carve in she'ain carve loy. I would have thought only Balechaim that you could be marking on the Mizbech. Are you chayiv kefil for? Because of Echman Chamar, have a mina Kaddish b'Bechayrit. Only something that's Kaddish b'Chor, but you ain't Kaddish b'Chor loy. Army Zok to Gemara, Imkei Nichlev Echman Shor v'Chamor. But Sel Omali, there's a third prat. Why the extra Seh? Shema mina lasuye oifos. It tells us oifos. Frank the more maybe lasuye oifos toyim. Maybe only oifos toyim. Dumya de Seh. The Matama begadim abeis abliya. Aval oifos tmeim. The less butuma. Oifos tmeim don't have tuma. So the Matama begadim abeis abliya. Loy. Maybe they shouldn't be mechuyev and capable if you steal an oif tamei. Tomorrow kol ribuyehu. At the end of the day, it says kol, and that is a ribuy. Frank the more b'chalecha dechsiv kol ribuyehu. We had this exact story before. V'gabi meiser dechsiv kol because darshinu le b'chlal prat. It's just part of the klal prat. It's not used to be marba extra things in addition to the klal prat. The Tanya, when it talks about what you're allowed to buy with mois meiser sheni, the pasuk says v'nasat kesef b'cholashet avan avshecha klal v'bakar return the v'yana v'shecha prat b'cholashet shochan avshecha is chazar v'kola klalu prat klal yatzon elakena prat. What can you buy with mois meiser sheni? Things that are similar to the prat. Ma prat mefurish pre. It's one fruit that produces another fruit. It's generational, b'gidulei karka, and it also grows from the ground. I've called pre gidulei karka. Amri, Dr. Gemara, you're right. Ba koil kolalahu. It says bechol asher ta'avan avshcho, that's takaklal. But kol avedus chira, that it says in the parish of Kefal ribuyu. Or you could say even kol would be a kolalahu. Miu kol dahacha. Here the kol that it says in the parish of Kefal. Here we know it's a ribuyu because it's extra. Michli. Ksiv meikar klal pratu klal. Ksiv kiit nishes el reu klal. Kesav ekelim prat. Lishmar hadav echala. At the introduction of the parsha of Kefal, when it talks about when the pikot was given over, it has the klal pratu klal. So why did we have to repeat a whole new set of klal pratu klal when we talk about the chiv to Kefal? We saw gedai the chayal called davar pesha. Nami l'chal pratu dasa. It could have put all of these pratim here, Shor, Chamor, Seth, Salma, at the beginning of the parasha when it talked about someone giving over the pikotin. It could have thrown it into that klal prato klal. Why did you have to have a whole new set of klal prato klal? I'll call dvar pesha lomali shemami naribuyu. Okay, let's stop here. It ended up being Imam Shachazar, so it went zip zip.
Now you can sleep in tomorrow.
1 second. Wenn es das Versuch ist verwehrt.
Was?
Versuch ist verwehrt.
Was heißt? Schkoirach.
Versuch